Hello, welcome back to the Jörn YouTube channel. I'm very happy to see you again. My name is Reinke, and today I want to talk about rubber metal parts, about the slit bush for machines for soil cultivation, especially for a cultivator. We are here at Jörn's warehouse where I have to pick up a part and then I go to the machine shop because we need to modify the part a little bit further before we can use it. So here you go, that's the part, that's the slit bush. Please follow me to the machine shop. Hello, here I am again. Here we are in the tool shop, in the machine shop, where we machine some metal parts and also some prototype parts. Why? Because this is a bush used in a mass production series for the truck, and this is not 100% fit into the cultivator mount, into the housing there. So we have to cut the inner tube a little bit and increase the diameter here. I've prepared that bush. Here we are. That's the cutted bush. That's not very visible, but even if it's just 1 millimeter material too much, I mean, you can't just mount it. Why are we doing that? I mean, in the early phase of development, you want to have fast, quick, simple, and also cheap prototype parts. And sometimes you can build the prototype parts by just machining existing series parts. That makes it rather cheap and fast. And you can avoid building a new set of tools. Vulcanization tools are rather cost intensive. So, sorry for that. Yeah, well, that's what we're doing here, and that's why I'm doing that. I mean, later on in a real series, we might consider building a separate tool for each application. That depends on the specific conditions. Okay, now we want to go and have a look at the real cultivator. Please follow me. Okay, here we are, that's the cultivator. What is a cultivator? A cultivator is something similar to a plow, but a plow is something which is just turning the soil upside down, deviating from a utilization of a plow. A cultivator is breaking up the soil, in order to make it more easy for the water to get to the roots of the plants later on in the field. Well, that's the difference. And this one here, this specialty cultivator, is a cultivator. This one is a cultivator with an overload protection. Why? I mean, sometimes you have heavy stones or some other big hurdles in the soil, and if the cultivator would just be a hole there, then maybe the whole thing would be separated from the tractor. And this is something you don't want, and something would break. That's not good. Therefore, you have an overload protection, which is a spring and sometimes damper, which is this element here. And then the whole thing just flaps up and avoids the hurdle by that. The kinematic to do that requires some joints here. In that case, it's 3 joints. Normally, in other cases, you use sliding joints of this area, with or without grease, depending on the specific design. But, however, whenever you have a sliding joint, you have a gap. The gap might be very, very minimal, but however, it's never zero, it can't be. And when you have a gap, some dirt could move into it. And if there's dirt in the gap, in the sliding joint, it will be destroyed sooner or later. You can reduce the effect by greasing it, but that requires maintenance, or you apply some very, very complicated sealing to that. But the trouble is that this one is not a laboratory application, it's something which is used in the field. where you have lots of soil, lots of dust, and so on. So that's why you always have the problem with dirt in the gap. That means you have wear. So our colleague, my colleague, Mr. Michael Schiebel, the man behind the camera, he has a background in sliding joint technology. So he came up with the idea to replacing that joints with rubber metal bushes. That's how we came to the idea of using the slit bush in this area. We have 3 joints here in that area. One is here, there, and there, and we are using 2-layer slit bush. What a slit bush is and how it works, I've explained it in the slit bush video. And just to remind you a little bit, 2-layer slit bush has a very low stiffness in torsional direction, but it's very stiff in radial direction and cadenic, because you don't want the cultivator just dancing or whatever behind the tractor. That's something you absolutely don't want. It must be very stiff. Very good guidance is required. That's how the slit bush came into the game. And how we did that after Mr. Schiebel had the idea, we just bought a cultivator from the spare part market. We bought the cultivator from the spare part market, and we just changed the color and the appearance a little bit, avoiding that it's too clearly visible who's the manufacturer of this cultivator. And then we measured forces, displacement, twisting angles at our test bench, on the hydraulic test bench. That's how we came up with the idea. And we displayed the part at the fair and won the first customer, which is a small customer, it's a company called Lutz in Germany, and that applied our bushes to his parts, and it's now in utilization, in testing for 3 years already, and it's cultivating around 5,000 hectares a year since that, without any problems, without any issues. So the company offering the cultivating service to the farmers is very happy with the solution, because they have had no trouble at their joints, nothing to replace and nothing broke. Okay, that's it for slit bushes in cultivators. But wherever you have tilting angles of about 50 degrees, that cultivator turns in these joints about 50 degrees, and where a good guidance in the longitudinal direction is required, combined with a high stiffness, avoiding these, let me call it dancing mode of the cultivator or any other thing, a slit bush like this is a very appropriate solution for that. Maintenance-free, angle up to 50 degrees. I mean, that of course depends on the number of roll events. If it's a lower number, you can twist it even more, that one. You can use bushes like that for discount mounting. We have projects where it's used in a parallelogram to be used to balance some unevenness of the ground of your field. This is a very good idea to use a slit bush as well, and there are many other options to use that in a very good way. But that's it for today. I would say thank you very much for your attention. Please follow us here at YouTube, wherever you want as well, and all the other social media channels, of course. When you have any questions, ideas or comments, please don't hesitate to do so, to let me know. You have all the contact data here down in our info box. And I'm very happy to receive many questions, because we're going to prepare a video especially about questions and answers. Okay? And talking about the next video we have in our schedule is about mounts we call conical mounts, and V mounts and X mounts. These are all very soft mounts, and they are used for vibration decoupling, vibration reduction. For example, in cabin mounts or as accurate mounts. Good, thank you very much. Stay healthy. Thank you very much to Michael Schiebel behind the camera, and he's doing all the cutting, and see you next time again. Bye bye.